the one thing that I would like to finish with at least for this section of the music theory stuff, is a bit of note finding. How to know what note is this, or what note is this. Is the intention to be able to instantly know as soon as you look at it? Not necessarily, but within a couple of seconds, yaha. That is what you really need to be able to do if you really want to not begin soloing, but end up being able to solo well and be able to improvise. That is what we're aiming towards, very much so. And how we do that, there's an order to this. If you don't know the names of your open strings yet, start there. And what have you been doing when you've been tuning your guitar if you don't know the names of your open strings? They sound silly, but some people don't. Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie is what you need for that one, or any other acronym. Feel free. What many people don't realise, and not enough people realise, especially when I was teaching privately, I tried to drill this in early on, but everyone forgets, the double dot, 12th fret, is the exact same note. So E, A, D, G, B, E. E, A, D, G, B, E. You already know twice as many notes as you thought you did if you haven't got that far already. So the next thing that we need to do in the correct order would be to learn all the notes on the thickest E string. And at the same time as this, you want to be learning about the notes that exist. So we start off with an E, go for an F at the first fret, and we're learning that the notes that exist in the world go from A to G, but we have sharps and flats in between most of them, but not all of them. So between that E and F, there is no sharp or flat. There is no E sharp. There is no F flat. It doesn't exist. Next one would be an F sharp, then a G sharp, so on and so forth, all the way up to 12th fret, where it would repeat, but also we've covered all the notes that we need to between the open string and the 12th fret. The dusty end of the guitar solo stuff, all of that, we'll get there, but learn the notes, make things easy on yourself. Go for the first 12 frets first of all. After that, we're looking at the first 3 dots on the thickest 2 strings. If you memorize these notes, you will be able to find any other note on the entire fretboard within a few seconds by using octave shapes. It's the best method I've come across. It is commonly taught online, but there are so few people actually using it, and none of you guys talking about this on forums or in Facebook comments or anything. You're all sharing, or a lot of you guys are sharing, these fretboard diagrams with a note at every fret that look so confusing and are just insane. You'll never be able to memorize them, and even if you did, you've just made life a lot harder for yourself. And still, if you could write every fret on the fretboard on a piece of paper from memory, would you be able to practically find what that note is at this fret within a couple of seconds? Maybe not, because you'd be counting up still. You know, there'd be some form of memorization. Whereas this is less memorization and more practically finding. So the notes on the thickest 2 strings at the first 3 dotted locations are G, and then this is really hard to remember, okay, so stay with me. A, B, C, D, E. Really tough, right? Okay, that's really hard to remember the first 5 letters of the alphabet, I know. But all we have to add to that is the G at the start, okay? So after G, which is the same root note as a G chord, it's just following the alphabet on the thickest 2 strings at the first 3 dots. G, A, B, C, D, E. Think that is level 6, lesson 3 or 4 of my beginner's course. That lesson is also free on the website if you haven't checked it out already. There's a lot of music theory at particularly level 5 and 6. There is a lot of this stuff more basically. How does that allow us to find, and how does that allow me to find what this note is? Well, there's a couple of things that we can use, and there's a couple of, you have to know your note locations. For example, you have to know what the notes are that you're looking for to be able to do it at any fret. So for example, if I know that this note is a B, let's go for the G. The first one I asked you to remember. If we know this one's a G, you have to be able to know that the one next to it's a G sharp. So if we know that this one's a B at 7th fret, the one next door to it is going to be a C. And that's why I say just a second or two to find it, because you find the one that you always know and you go to, because I've only asked you to memorize 6 of them. And then from knowing the order of the notes and the notes that exist, B to C, okay? But if we know where this B note is, we also know all the notes on the thinnest E string straight away, because they're exactly the same. Both of the E's are tuned to, the string 1 and string 6 are tuned to E. So if you know a note letter name on the thickest E string, you also know it on the thinnest E string. Simple as that, okay? So G, A, B, C, D, E on the thickest, on the thinnest string and the thickest string. They're the same. After then, I think the easiest thing to do is be looking at power chords. So if you've learnt the bar chord or the power chord shape, this or this, the first finger and the little finger are the same note. Sounds like the start of Purple Haze. Couldn't help myself. That octave idea is also, what is it? My Sharona. Love that song, love it. Yeah, octave shape there, so we can find the octave of, for example, this G. We can also find the one in the middle, power chord. And then there's one final, well, there's a couple of others, because we can do the same thing with a power chord from string 5. And then we could also do this one. This one's normally the hardest for people to memorize, but it's basically a C chord. So when you play a C chord, the third finger and the first finger are the same note. So whenever you do that, they're the same note, so it doesn't matter which one you're going for. So for example, earlier, a second ago, that's what note this is, from knowing that octave shape, and knowing that this note at the 12th fret, which I said everyone would know, is an A note. This note is also an A. And there are many other little tricks that you can kind of do like that, like there's the octave that you can take one extra rather than it being 2 frets, that the next octave it's 3 frets, so A, A. That's kind of a nice little trick, but yes, all of that is to come in a future little music theory short course refresher. That is the music theory that we do want to be learning.